The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Kev, I know you're a bit of a fan of Brighton.
Love it.
Street photography, great for Brighton, isn't it? I mean, street photography and Brighton are a marriage made in heaven, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a lovely place, lovely people. They've done a lot of good work to Brighton over the 20 years or so. Yeah, I really like it there. Love it.
The hotels, though, do you remember the one we stayed in? As usual, I got the really nice suite that looks onto the sea, and I think you were at the back looking out of the bins or something.
That's the one. It burnt down.
Yeah.
I know. Did you leave your cigarettes in the room?
I did not leave my cigarettes in the room, but I walked past one of the rooms that was, you could see into the rooms, and all you saw was this burned out room with a headboard. It was really weird.
Gross.
I mean, it's such a shame because it's. I mean, what a beautiful hotel. Very, what would it be? Edwardian, Victorian? I'm not very good at that.
I think it was Victorian, but yeah, I mean, it was lovely on the outside.
Yeah.
It was horrible inside.
No, it was all right, Kev. You just had
your room was all right.
Yeah, as always, I got the best room. But the parking, Kev, honestly, if I could go back in time, I would buy up lots of land and I'd wait for the combustion engine to be invented. 31 quid for 5 hours.
Yeah, it's insane, Brighton. Absolutely insane.
Quid.
It's just crazy. You know what I used to have for lunch, right?
What?
I used to go, on a Monday, I'd go to the co-op.
Yeah.
And I'd get my co-op card out and I'd check to see if there was any deals for the week. And invariably, I'd end up buying 5 tins of tuna and 5 packets of their pre-done kind of salads.
Is that what you lived on?
It's my lunches, for the week.
Right.
And the little salad packs used to be 80 pence.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
Now they're £1.85 for
What?
exactly the same thing.
Come on, Kev, we're emigrating to Spain.
The FujiCast.
We're off. When can we go, Kev?
Oh, tomorrow. Let's go tomorrow.
No,
I can't go tomorrow. I've got a workshop. Let's go Saturday.
Okay. Is it cheaper in Spain, by the way? But, I mean, you spend your summer there. So is this trickle-down effect of economies across the world? Is it trickling down to the poor?
The everyday stuff, certainly in that part of Spain, is much, 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 much cheaper.
Is it?
But I'm sure they've equally complaining there about things going up as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, we've always got our desert island, Kev, we could go and live on. Anyway, welcome to the FujiCast. You and your questions that you've been sending into the email, which is click@fugicast.co. Was that your tummy? Click at fugicast.co. He needs to eat. He can't afford to eat. Get him some food. Quick, send him food parcels. Click at fugicast.co.uk. We will get there. Or the ones that you're sending into Facebook. Hopefully we got some questions in the Facebook group, Kev. Have we?
Not many.
Oh.
Well, no, we've got loads. We've got loads we've never answered, but not many recently.
Not many new ones. Well, the listening figures are good, Kev. It might be that people just think, I must have answered all the questions now.
How many people listen in a week?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me that question now.
Roughly. You must know. You look at the numbers. I don't look.
Well, do you want a per episode or do you want an each week?
Okay.
Well, it goes into the thousands. We're usually at about 2,500, and then it just goes up and up and up and up and up a bit as the weeks and the months go by. When people catch up, because although we like to think that people hang on your every word, Kev, they don't. They wait. Sometimes we mature like a fine Italian cheese. And then they sort of listen to us about a month later. People are about a month behind. That's roughly what people are, about a month behind.
Month behind? Well, why do we not do it? Why don't we just knock this off today and just do it in a month's time then?
Yeah, it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. So it sort of rises from there. That does put us, Kev, in the top. I don't know where this half came from, but we've talked about this before. We are officially in the top 1.5% of podcasts.
Go us.
But there is a big chasm of difference between us and Joe Rogan with his 3 million, 4 million downloads a week, or probably more. So we're all in that same percentage together, Kev. Although we can't quite command the fees that he does for advertising.
Yeah.
And on that note, nicely done, Kev.
Yeah.
We got to thank pick-time.com for supporting us.
I always call them pick-hyphen.
Well, they are, aren't they? It's pick-time.
Yeah, but their company's called Pick-time.
I know, but
the website is hyphen.
But if I say pick-time.com, people will always remember, it's pick-time.com. They won't go to the website and say, well, I'm putting pick-time in. I'm not coming up with anything. What's going on? Neil said pick-time.com. Here I am. I've arrived.
Okay.
It's
Carry on in your own little strange world.
Well, it's not. It's a good way of remembering Kev. Eh? If it was Kevin Mullins Photography with hyphens in them, I'd say Kevin-Mullins-photography.co.uk. Or would that not be the right thing to say?
Well, when you're referring to the website, granted, but when you're referring to the company, pick time.
Yeah, but okay, all right. So thank you to PickTime for their sponsorship. If you'd like to go to the website, it's pick-time.com.
That's it. That's it. Perfect. Well done. You're growing up.
It's a service that I wish I could has anybody got a cattle prod that could reach Malmesbury? It's a service that we both use for showing our wares, the weddings that we shoot, the portraits that we make. We share them online, and we do it for commercial work as well. I've just done some commercial portrait work of late, Kev. Met some really, really interesting people. Authors, Kev.
Right, I'm an author, technically.
Well, you are.
I rated a book.
You did. I've still got it. It's in the loo.
I got some good news about PickTime, actually.
Have you?
Yeah, for those in the UK and those who have been using Digital Lab as their labs in the UK. Digital Lab are now one of the labs in PickTime, pick-time.com. I spent an hour this morning going through my store and changing all of my UK, everything I got that's available in the UK, pointing it to Digital Lab.
So who were you using? Who were you pointing to before then?
Well, I'm not going to say because it seems a little bit cruel, but I am technically an ambassador for Digital Lab, so it seemed the right thing to do. But but they don't have everything on there. You know, they don't certain things they don't do. So the other company will carry on getting my wares for the other stuff. Right. Okay. I was excited by that because, you know, they do good stuff, Digital Lab. They're a good company, a good, honest company, good, honest people they are.
And you also use it for, well, you set your galleries up in a different way to me, that you enable people to design. We've talked about this, I know, but just in case you're new or haven't listened for a month, you allow people to set up their and do their albums online as well, don't you? So everything goes direct to them. You don't have nothing to do with it.
No, 100%. I had a lovely little Instagram story the other day from a client, and from January, I think they got married. No, February or March. I don't know. Anyway, it's the first wedding of the year this year I did. A nice little Instagram story of them with their album that they did all of their hard work for, and I took the spondoolies. I'm joking, of course.
Did you send them a thank you card? Thanks very much.
No, it's great. It's a great system. We know that. You know that. I know that. You know that. Barney knows that. My two dogs know that. The horse knows that. People in the world need to know that.
Okay. If you'd like to use them, go to pick-time.com. And if you use FujiCast, here we go, all capital letters. It doesn't have to be all capital letters. It's a little bit like your mum when she says an email address. You've said this, haven't you? It's Kevin with a capital K. No, it doesn't need to be capital K, mum. No, it's capital K, Kevin.
Yeah. No. Your mum called Kevin. That's interesting.
No. No.
No, I know what you mean. My mum does that all the time. Capital L-O-R-R, like no.
So, FujiCast, that will get you a month free. Bingo. Yep. Job done. Right, straight into letters, because I noticed last time we did a show, it took 10, 15 minutes to get into letters.
Yeah, we're bad, aren't we?
So, do you
Joe Rogan's not like this.
Do you want to start on me?
You go first.
Mark Adams. Gentlemen, hello. I recently had the inestimable, pleasure of observing Neil at work at a family wedding. By the way, the results are awesome. Thank you. Did
you know he was there?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was thinking of the wrong Mark for a minute. I was thinking, not that Mark. Blimey. Did he go to a wedding and I didn't say hello? No, I know the Mark Adams we're talking about now. Yeah, it was a good fun day, wasn't it, in Wales? Quick questions resulting from the observations. Oh my God, that means he was watching me, Kev.
He's going to say, your arse is too big. Your arse is too big for a wedding photographer.
Yeah, well, that's the first thing he says. I noticed that your backside is a little bit more... No, he didn't say that. I noticed extensive use of peak design clips, straps and the like, and wondered to what extent those items have had on enabling your candid and unobtrusive style. My cameras have recently grown peak design anchors too. I'm not trying to turn this into the Peak Cast. Well, there we go, Kev. There's the next sponsor. I use Peak Design, but the reason I use them is because they're really, really strong. I've used them because they have different size straps depending upon the weight of your cameras or lenses that you use. So there's a sort of a heavier duty one. I don't need to use the heavier duty one with Fujifilm cameras. But I just find I like the little grippy bits that are on them, and I like the fact that you can quickly take them on and off a camera, because I sometimes use them in the studio here when I'm doing Zoom calls and stuff. And I don't want straps sort of getting in the way of stuff. When you use a tripod, you don't always want a strap just hanging down, do you? And so that idea of being able to take them on and off quickly. I know there are other systems available, I think, but that's the best I've found. Peak Design. I've been using them years now, Kev. Do you use them?
No.
No. What do you use?
I still have that original spider holster clip that I stick on my belt. I've used that. You can't buy them anymore. I've got 3 of them over the years. I still use that. I have one. That one sits on my belt. That's it. And then the other one. The other camera is on a strap, and I've still got my original, I think it was called Upstrap, UPSTRAP, which have also gone out of business.
Yeah. Upstrap.
They were great Kevlar straps.
Yes,
straps made of Kevlar.
Yeah.
Non-slip. Don't even slip off my cheap, nasty jacket that I get from Marks and Spencer's.
Anything could slip off that. Yeah. I'll come back to the spider holster thingy in a minute, but the Peak Design, I actually also use a spider holster. But just in case I want to use that camera with a strap, having those little Peak Design, what are they called? What did he call them? Lugs? So they really, the sort of round lugs that then fit into the strap. They clip in and they sound like they're properly caught in the strap, which is good. That's what I use. So on the one that I carry on my belt, I can also put a strap on that really, really quickly if I need to. So that
a lot of people use them, don't they?
Yeah. But on the spider holster spider thing, they've not gone out of business though, have they? They've just changed the design, haven't they?
No, I don't think they've gone out of business. They've just changed it a bit. Yeah. And I just love that old original one. It's brilliant. It's always worked.
Yep.
Never failed me.
Yep.
Never dropped anything. Never just nothing. It's just always worked. I'm a man of very solid habits. I've still got the same bag I started with. I've still got the same holster.
Yep.
Still got the same strap.
Wife.
Still got the same wife. Yeah. For now.
That's her saying that, not you.
Yeah.
And if it ain't, one of your favorite expressions in life is what's the one where if it works? What's the one you say? Things that work. That's it.
Stuff that works.
Stuff that works. Isn't that that's from a song, isn't it?
Yeah, Guy Clark.
Got
that tattooed on my arm.
That's right. And your beloved has got it tattooed on her arm as well.
She has indeed, although albeit a little bit smaller.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm
my new favourite quote is "Fortune favours the brave."
I say that, Kev.
I know. We were talking about it yesterday, and I said to you,
"You've copied me."
I'm going to say that all the time now.
Right. Yeah, I was having a bit of an unbrave moment, wasn't I?
There you go. Fortune favours the brave.
Fortune favours the brave. I think my dad might have said that. I've probably taken it from my dad.
I think lots of people have said it, but
I think I'm going to put it down to my dad. I'm sure
he definitely invented it.
Yeah, he definitely. But I think stuff that works, and also if it ain't broke, don't fix.
Yep.
So when I saw, I think it was Anna McCarthy that showed me the new style one. I thought, that's. The old one was like just clicked in really nicely, very good, very quick to use, and it's like, you've changed. Why have you changed that?
I actually have some of those Peak Design things, those red lugs and stuff like that. They're in my cupboard. I've got a cupboard of stuff I've never used.
I know.
And it's massive. I've got loads of stuff in there.
I want to come and raid your cupboard.
I think one day what I might do is just once I've been through the rest of the studio and sorted it all out, I'm going to have that big box. And there's all kinds of goodies in there, like like editing devices and straps and all like lenses, all kinds of things. And I'm just going to put it on eBay with a big question mark on the top.
Would you?
Whatever's in this, you can have.
I bet you've got a dozen Wacom tablets.
Oh, I haven't got any now, but I did. I went through. I must have had 3 Wacom tablets in my time.
Yeah, never used them.
I ever used.
Never ever used them. But they were like. Gotta have me one of those.
Yeah, because they look cool.
They did.
Yeah, they look cool, but I could never get on with it.
No.
Ever. I know people who live by them, though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Askoff used to do it.
Did he?
The thought of him editing with a mouse.
Oh, there we go. There was a second part to this. Secondly, wide aperture prime lenses seem to be the key. So if he was observing me that closely, it would have been the 18mm, which I'm I'm still not sure about, and the 56mm. They would have literally been glued to me.
The new 18mm.
Yeah, the new 18mm.
How can you not be sure about that?
It's just it's if we're talking full frame, I know you get a little bit, you come up in hives when we do this, but if you're talking sort of the full frame numbers, so that 28mm, so that everybody understands it, the 28mm focal length doesn't sound like it's a lot wider than the 35, but it really is, Kev. It really is. And having shot 35 and 85 I love, but having shot 35, there's been occasions, and maybe there will be coming up this winter if I've got any winter weddings, where I think, I wish I had something just a bit wider than a 35. I don't know, Kev. It's a bit wide.
Yeah, but you're using 40 megapixel cameras now.
No, I'm not. I'm using the S. I'm using.
Yeah.
XH2S, not the XH2.
Your fault for buying that camera, then.
Well, no, because the XH2S is I think the better one for weddings.
Let's move on.
Why do you not agree with that?
I hate that H2S.
Well, yeah. Oh well. Do you hate?
Anyway, the Tories have just cancelled it.
And they've slapped a meat tax on it. The grips are made of meat. We've taxed it.
The 18mm I think is superb, and the granted you're not using the higher megapixel cameras, but you can, if you are you've got an XT5 though, haven't you?
No, I never. I got the.
Got two H2S.
I went X instead of T.
Right. Yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, it's literally a step forward or a step back, isn't it? Or even on 26 megapixel cameres, you can crop in a substantial amount.
Yeah, but you don't want to be doing that all the time. And if
better to have more than have less.
Yeah.
You're thinking of you're missing the depth of field. I think.
Maybe.
I think you're missing the blurriness.
No, I don't know. I just when I look back at the pictures, I think, I like that one. Oh, like that one. Then they do tend to be. Have you looked at a wedding after you've shot it? Do you use just two lenses? Are you 18 and 56?
Yeah.
Okay, so same as me then.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come into zooms in a minute because that's what Mark's question's about. But what would you say you use more of?
18.
So even during the speeches where you get an enormous sort of acceleration of picture numbers during that time?
Well, I think generally overall, let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, you're right. There's times when, and depending on where you are as well, that the 56 is really the only choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a wedding now that I'm editing, my last wedding in my queue, and they will get 487 pictures.
Right.
I'm just going up to the metadata now, and 296. On the 18. So actually it's about half, isn't it? About half.
Yeah. Well, he said wide aperture prime lenses seem to be the key. Is there a place for zooms in wedding photography? Or is the extra stop or two of aperture and improved quality the key factor in lens selection? Regards, Mark Adams. Now, I would say, first of all, the quality, yes, because I never feel the same about anything that I've got out of a 16 to 55, for example. I don't have the same relationship with it quality-wise. Or am I wrong there, Kev?
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think prime lenses are marginally better quality than zooms in terms of image quality.
Yeah, so that's...
I think that's true across all brands.
But so there's a missing part of my act because I do some portraits of family. I know you do as well, Kev, but I would hazard a bet I probably do more. And I need to probably furnish myself with a 35mm to get that 50 focal lengthy kind of thing going on. But apart from that, and that's the only reason why I've been using zoom lenses. Otherwise, I wouldn't use them at all during a wedding. And I don't have a 50 to 140 at all. I don't even own one. So I'm looking forward to when your cupboard opening is happening because
I got one of them. I got loads of zooms.
Well, that's the next lens I'm stealing from you.
But I use the 50 to 140 for when I work for the Great North Run Company.
Oh, I won't
use that a lot for that.
I won't get away with that then.
Nah.
Okay.
I think I've got about 335mm lens kicking around though.
Have you?
Yeah, somewhere.
Can you send one this way?
I'll see if I can find them.
That would be. I just do a long-term loan.
Yeah, stick it next to the 60mm.
That's. Is there a place for zooms in wedding photography? Asks Mark with a big question mark. Over to you, Kev.
Yeah, of course there is. If you want to use it and you know it's comfortable, then yeah, absolutely. I think by and large, people who shoot in similar styles to us, i.e., reportage tend to lean towards prime lenses, mostly because they're faster. And by that, I mean faster aperture, better light consumption.
Yeah.
So when we're shooting in low light in those, either the dancing or the speeches, whatever, especially this time of the year going forward, everything gets much darker.
Yeah.
And I think those 1.2, 1.4 lenses that's why we end up going towards those. But yeah, of course, if a zoom lens works, then do it. I do have this thing that I think is quite important as well, which is the consistency throughout your delivery, especially in your website. So the stuff you show on your website, I think if you use a zoom, especially if it's got a long range, the images can look a bit inconsistent because, they're random different focal lengths. Whereas if you stick to a particular focal length or two, then, they're pretty much consistent and the clients know what they're going to get or what they can expect to get at least.
Yes, very good point. On the using the lens wide open, I'm just going to tell you, Kev, everybody else switch out at this point because you will not believe how daft I've been for this many years using the system.
I think they will believe.
I didn't know this.
I don't even know what you're going to say yet.
I only just the other day switched over to electronic and manual shutter working in tandem because I finally realised that it would make its own mind up that when you're wide open and the sun shines too much, it will flick automatically into electronic shutter.
Yeah. No, I have that set.
I've never had it. I've always had it on mechanical shutter, and during the speeches put it onto electronic, and I still do that to an extent. But I didn't for some reason it didn't clock with me that if I had that electronic plus mechanical on, that it would make its mind up, and if it was far too bright, it would just go into electronic. And
yeah. No, it's brilliant, and it's much better than it used to be now with the flickering problems.
Yeah.
So yeah, all good. I always use that. I mean, I do double check during the ceremony. Just before the ceremony, I take a big. I switch to purely electronic shutter in the ceremony, but I'll do a burst to see if there's any band-in first, and if there isn't, then it's electronic. And then the moment I walk up the back of the aisle to get them on the recessional, while I'm walking up the aisle, I'm flipping it back to mechanical and electronic.
Banding's a lot better though these days, isn't it? I've not noticed that being, because I do the same thing as you. I've not noticed that being a big problem.
No, absolutely no issues at all this year.
Unless venues are actually spending proper money on bulbs at last.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. There's a world shortage of the cheap ones. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Yours, Kev, over to you.
Okay, so we're going back. We haven't really had many questions recently, so we'll go back. This is 8 weeks ago. Paul Gallagher. Hi, Kev. Hi, Neil. I hope you're both having a great summer. It's been really good. Thanks. I saw the following post recommended to me on Facebook, although I think it originated on Reddit. What does a frog say when he's been to the library?
Oh, God. Is it?
Reddit.
Oh.
Reddit.
These are the jokes, folks.
Yeah, and thought this must be a fairly common scenario. How would Kevin and Neil deal with it? Have you ever been asked for a refund for a reason completely outside of your control after the wedding or event has been shot? So for perspective, I need to read out this post. This is on Reddit. Bride wants a refund after groom had an affair with my second shooter.
Oh, well, when you put in the last bit, yes.
Yeah.
And up to that moment, I was thinking, well, that seems a bit unfair to me.
So earlier this summer, I shot a wedding. This is not me, obviously. This is on the Reddit forum. Earlier this summer, I shot a wedding. My typical second shooter couldn't make it.
Right.
So I found someone else online who I felt did good work. Oh, that's already a red flag, isn't it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
It's like Tinder for wedding photographers. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Anyways, her and I did the wedding and everything seemed business as usual.
Yeah.
Photos were edited, delivered to client. All was good. Then, this morning, I got an email from the bride. She was wanting a refund because the lady I had hired as a second shooter for the day ended up sleeping with her husband at some point after the wedding.
Oh, this is
and she also included photos from his phone to prove it.
I was about to say this is a made-up story, but you've scuppered that one.
It's not
awesome, Kev.
Yet.
It's not awesome at all.
I haven't responded yet, but what's the best thing to do here? She hired me for a job, and the job was completed and product was delivered. But I also felt like this would be as if I were a professional dog walker who walked a client's dog, then came back and shot it.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say lost it, but shot it seems a bit...
Of course, the second shooter is considered a private contractor and not an employee.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the best thing to do here? I really feel for this lady, but that's also a lot of money to have to give back for the work that was done.
Well, first of all, I'm not laughing at the situation.
I am.
Well, I don't feel I want to laugh at the situation because it's terrible, Kev.
Well, yeah, no, it is terrible, but
I'm sort of, there's a kind of a nervous laugh of I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, it seems a little far-fetched,
It
doesn't
does,
it?
doesn't it? It seems like a Chinese whispery thing that's gone mad.
Yeah, but people do things, don't they? People
Not a
do
second
things
shooter, Kev.
with other people that they shouldn't be doing them.
Well, yeah, but when would they have time, for heaven's sakes?
Oh, there's loads of times between the speeches and the first dance.
There isn't, Kev. It's only about an hour and a quarter, hour and a half, the cocktail hour. I want to be careful how I say that.
Yeah, exactly. So to bring it down to a level of acceptableness,
Yes.
I would say my personal, in this particular instance, is I would probably end up taking it up with the second shooter and saying, look, this is what's happened. She wants her money back. I want you to pay me the money, and then if she pays him the money, then I would give the client the money back.
God,
it does seem, if some, it's a little bit like. So let's say we're we're concert organisers, we're a concert planner. What do you call it?
A promoter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We're a promoter. So we've got a lovely Ralph McTell concert to do at the Blue Moon in Putney.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, can we change the artist?
No. Why? Why would you change it?
I'm not a big Ralph McTell fan.
Okay. Who should we pick?
Could we have Nirvana?
Three-quarter
Actually, no, we can't have
Okay,
Nirvana,
right.
can we?
So
Because there's a little bit of Nirvana missing.
We're doing Nirvana.
Let's just go with Ralph McTell. Much easier.
We're doing it's a Ralph McTell tribute to Nirvana at the
Right.
Blue Moon in Putney.
Okay, it's a bit weird.
And you and I are the promoters, and we've organised it all, and we've hired in staff,
Yeah.
and everything is going well.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the final song, one of the members of our workforce that we've hired in unplugs the main plug, and everything goes off. People walk into each other.
Yeah.
People fall over. Ralph McTell falls off. He breaks his guitar that he's had for 65 years.
Terrible news.
All kinds of terrible things happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be the promoter's fault, isn't it?
Well, for not putting safety things in place.
It's just the promoter's fault. We hired them.
Somebody
That would be responsible.
Somebody has to carry the can, as it were.
I think. Anyway, it's a very, very far-fetched.
It is. It's a very strange one. I think I'd move to that desert island we were talking about if that happened.
I thought you were going to say I want to move to that town.
No.
Swipe left.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, there you go. Anyway, let's move on. Your question.
Yeah. Chase Anderson writes about affairs at weddings.
What was the name of that photographer that was really successful in the early days? Chase something.
It was Chase, wasn't there? Chase.
Jarvis.
Is it Chase Jarvis? Who
Yes.
was the other one that did the? I think it was an American guy that had the pictures of. I just remember this picture of sheep running through a field. What was his name? Do you remember that
Crash
one?
Taylor.
Crash Taylor. What happened to Crash Taylor?
He quit.
Did he?
He's a teacher now, I think, in Nottingham College.
He was
something.
absolutely huge. Huge he was.
Yeah, he was massive. Very, 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 very good marketer.
Yeah, he was.
Marketeer.
I just remember the sheep in the field. Hi, Kev and Neil. Always good to hear your voices. This is Chase Anderson, by the way. You've both mentioned that you're avid family documentarians. I am as well. My question is, though, about prints and printable products. My problem is that tens of thousands of photos just sit on my hard drives. How do you get your photos out into the world and out into the hands and the eye lines of your loved ones? Do you give them as photo gifts to your friends and well, it says friends to your friends. I think you mean friends to your family and your family. Anyway, what are they? Photo books, boxes of prints, mugs? Oh, I don't know if any of my family would want a mug of us. Sorry about that. That definitely is your tummy.
Swipe left.
That's it. Is that what you're doing? Hoping for your help to escape my computer from Chase. Well, we make photo books. So we make blurb books, A4 sized blurb books, which are still popular, actually. Young Thomas, in particular, our youngest, he comes and gets them and looks through them and says, "Oh, look at Dad there. He'd less of a tummy and more hair." That sort of stuff. So we do that a lot. We're not phenomenal printers in terms of printing actual photographs or single pictures, and I don't think we've ever done a mug of the family, and I don't think we've ever done a box of prints. But it's books, and books.
I used to do books. I haven't done any for a while. No, the kids have all grown up a bit, but we did recently when we had our downstairs renovated. We had to go through a process of selecting pictures for the wall.
Right.
And we never had, I realised up until like I don't know when this was, just before we went to Spain, I think.
Right.
We didn't have any pictures on the walls downstairs. So now we've got all black and white pictures.
Nice.
Some of the kids, some of the, standard stuff. And then we've got some of black and white ones from our wedding thing that Anna took.
Yeah.
And we've also got some black and white ones that Anna gifted me, photography ones for my birthday. And basically Prince stuff now. I used to, every Christmas, I used to do a Jorgensen album of family stuff. But it become expensive, And Gemma, when I gave her the first one, she just burst into tears. So I can't look at these pictures.
Oh.
So I stopped doing them. Miserable.
I used to make films.
Yeah. Oh, you made some amazing films. I remember that one. Was it called Look What You Made? About Sam and the kids?
No, it was called You Did This.
You Did This, yeah. That was absolutely phenomenal. I loved that.
Yeah, I was quite proud of that one, actually. But it was made by the kids and their voices.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Especially at the end. I mean, it was tear-jerky when they said, "We love you, Mummy," at the end. It was one of those moments. I still kick myself, though, Kev. I meant to, because I've been recording for years and years and years. I should have, it's not a choice word. I could have recorded them saying, the cat sat on and what I wanted to do was morph that into them reading a little bit better each year until it it flows into, well, with Jack now, it would be Shakespeare. It would have been a really lovely audio project, but I didn't do it.
Albie's now when I see Albie now, he's like, all right, Dad. Where's your little cute voice gone?
All
right, Dad, you're taking me to the football this week.
Is his voice gone low now, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
God. I haven't seen Albs for years then in that. And Gemma. Poor Gemma. She's getting a bit of a telling off this week, Gemma.
I know, bless
Poor
her.
Gemma. She's had the COVID as well.
I know, she's not been very well. That's why her voice has dropped, I think.
Come here, Mullins. Give us a hug.
Give me some ibuprofen.
Sound like you're living with a pirate. Right, is it your go? I think it's your go, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, because we were talking about Prince.
Okay. Right, this is we will not be able to answer this, by the way. This is from Andrew Higgins.
Right.
He says, maybe an obscure question that only Andreas may know the answer to. What happened to Andreas being the marketing manager of Fujifilm? By the way, for those who do not know, what happened to Fujifilm's humongous filmmaking factory near Amsterdam?
Right.
Way back, early 90s, I think, when I was working for a regional newspaper, and we got through a fair bit of Fujicolor 400. Fujifilm took a small group of customers over to Holland to visit the factory. It was quite a sight to see thousands of rolls of film on the production line in a pristine, clean, very modern factory. Of course, come 2000 and Nikon D1, we phased them in and went fully digital. But I've always wondered about that Fujifilm factory. Despite the amazing renaissance in film use, I don't think Fujifilm has stayed in the film production business. Well, they're definitely still in the film production business. They've discontinued some, but they still produce some.
Yeah.
As far as I know, that factory is actually still there.
Right.
And the only reason I think it's still there is because I remember some of the Fujifilm crew going over there for a weekend for something or other. Some of the film and paper people. So I think it's still there, but it might not be. I don't know. And Andreas maybe is the only person who can answer that. I don't know if Andreas listens much, but maybe he will answer it.
He doesn't have time.
Us.
He's far too busy running Fuji World.
Yes, indeed he is. All those new cameras.
But if we could possibly have a chat with him, we will. Put that on your we will remember pile.
Yeah.
This one is from Andre Lidal. Hi, or dear Neil, dear Kevin. Hi from Bergen, Norway. Now you know Andre, don't you? Actually, it's Ondra, isn't it? It's Ondra, isn't it, in Norwegian? Hi from Bergen, and thank you for your highly entertaining and excellent podcast. Never did a noise happen at just the right moment. I've listened to you for a long time, even long before the COVID daily shows. I guess it was about time to write to you. I remember how delighted I was to discover a podcast about the camera brand that re-sparked my joy of photography. It was also a pleasure to have Kevin. This is why you should know him, by the way. It was also a pleasure to have you, Kevin, visit my camera club virtually last year.
Yes. Now, you said that I think we've done this question.
No, I don't think we have.
Or maybe Andre's written in twice. Yes. But anyway, go ahead.
Thank you. I've photographed a lot of different subjects and enjoy very much the various topics you and other listeners bring up in the podcast. However, now I feel we must talk a little bit about football. Now, football is not for everybody. I appreciate that. And he doesn't mean about the Norwegians in the Premier League. He says like Haaland, boo, Haaland, boo. Odegaard, yeah. Haaland's a great player. Who wouldn't want Haaland in their team? Eh?
He looks like a beluga whale, though, doesn't he? He looks
Kev,
like
that's a bit personal,
like
Kev.
Adonis of a man in a beluga whale suit.
Although I'm never going to be able to look at him again. I've been photographing football matches of my boys a couple of years now and shared them with the team and other parents. Highly appreciated, it turns out. Now my youngest have reached boys 19, and I feel it's about time to turn up the quality a notch. I'm using the XT4 and have some questions. Right, there's 3. 1, there are some pictures, Kev, but I don't think you have these in your inbox. They're in my one. There's some wonderful pictures that Andra's taken that look absolutely fantastic. Great action. Oh, there's a sliding tackle there. That's a yellow card. That looks like a red to me, Kev. Have you noticed the red cards in the Premiership? They're really piling up, aren't they?
Cool. Liverpool try watching the Rugby World Cup.
Well, that's true. Liverpool the other night ended with only 9 players on. I think it's one less, and they call the game off, don't they? Isn't it?
5. You got 5, I think. 5.
Is it? I thought it was 8.
5 red cards, I think, or maybe I don't know. I really don't know.
I thought it was down to 8 players. Anyway,
I don't know.
Somebody will tell us. So 1, which continuous focus mode set should I be using? Ignore obstacles and continue to track subject. Now, Kev's good at this because he does rugby and stuff. Erratically moving and accelerate, decelerate subject. I've experimented and researched with both, but I don't really understand which of the sets 1 to 5 is better for footy. Does it matter, or is it better to turn on just face detection to make sure the players are in focus? So that's the thing I would have done, you see.
Well, I wouldn't use face detection because it could be selecting the wrong face.
It seems to...
If they're close together, if there's tackle and they're on the same focal plane, it could be selecting the wrong face.
Although at f2.8, which you're going to have on your 50 to 140, the two wouldn't be that separate when you can
This is true, especially if you're far away.
Yeah.
So potentially that's the answer. I just always use the one with a lion on it, and Alan Hewitt will tell me off calling it a lion because it's not a lion. It's Puma, Jaguar. He did tell me, not a lion though. Anyway, it's the thing that looks like a lion.
It looks like a lion to me.
That's the one I always use.
Yeah.
I use that for everything. I even use that. So I do use that when I'm doing the sports stuff as well. It seems to work. That doesn't mean one of the other ones might not be better. Don't know, but that's the one I use. I wouldn't change it.
Go for lion.
Go for the lion.
Question number 2. Coming from Canon, I've been using my 70 to 200 f4 lens, that is. So there's the 2.8 and the 4. 2.8 was like just a huge weight, wasn't it? You could do so many serious damage with that. With the Fringer 2 Pro adapter. This gives me nice pictures, but many are out of focus. Would I benefit from using a Fujifilm zoom lens instead? Quicker and more accurate focus, ? If so, which of the affordable lenses would you recommend? Well, I think if it had been a 2.8, any of them would have been affordable compared to that one. But I don't know what the price difference is between the 50 to 140 and the 70 to 200 f4 lens in the Canon range. I would imagine, are they quite similar? I don't know.
No idea. No idea at all.
So, well, what would you suggest, though? I think a proprietary lens, when you're trying to get great results, is got to be better than using the Canon lens with a... Even though it says Pro, even though it says Pro, what is that noise? I still don't think I would trust that above using the 50 to 140 bolted on in a place where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Those Fringer adapters, I don't know whether they're called Fringer or Fringer.
Oh, right, okay.
Those adapters, they are meant to be very good. I have one, in fact, for my... I've got Metabones. I got a Metabones one.
You don't know what you've got because it's all in that cupboard of doom.
It is in the cupboard of doom. Yeah, it's for my GFX manual focus lens that I never use.
If you needed to find it quickly to save your life, you wouldn't be able to, would you?
No, I wouldn't have no chance. I wouldn't. Sometimes I wouldn't even be able to find the door to save my life, let alone stuff in the office. I would, I would always, especially if it's professional, if you're getting paid for it, I would just go for the native one.
I don't know that he's being paid for it, but I think he really wants to up his game.
Yeah, so I would go for it. I would go for the native personally.
Yeah.
But saying that, you know, if Andre's happy with what he's getting from his Fringer, then there's no need to change, really, is it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, stuff that works.
Fortune favours the brave.
Yeah, it's almost cyclic. I wish we could just play the theme tune now and cycle off into the distance. Would the sport finding mode benefit me this is the third part of the question, would the sport finding mode benefit me other than being able to observe the action outside of the frame?
So the sport finder should give you faster frames per second, quite substantially on some of the cameras, but it will crop. So your crop, I think, is a 1.6 crop. So, and that's why you can see outside the frame, but it will crop the images that you record. However, it is like that.
What?
That's it. That's me photographing a beluga whale, Man City. That's what I'd use. Yeah, the sport finder mode is really good, but just bear in mind that you will get cropped images.
Who would you rather have, Haaland or Odegaard?
Odegaard.
I mean, I like Odegaard, and I know you've got to be faithful to your team and your teammates, but I don't know. Haaland is a machine, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I don't think he's human.
He's not. He's beluga whale.
He's beluga whale on legs. I mean, he's just a phenomenal player. Anyway, so well, good luck with that. Did you enjoy doing because he said you did a camera club talk for them?
Yeah. It was a virtual one. Yeah.
I've never done a virtual camera club talk. How does that feel the same? And I quite like that sort of looking into the eyes of the audience thing. And I know you can do that.
So there was somebody switching the camera around so I could see the people asking the questions. Which was quite clever.
Right, because otherwise you can't see everybody in the audience. It's not like having a Zoom community meetup. It's very different.
I remember doing one during lockdown for X-Rite Photo.
Right.
You know, the camera calibration people.
Yeah.
And it was an entire hour. And I could see on the software that there was, I don't know, like 150 people listening, watching.
Yeah.
But all I could see was myself. And there was no feedback. Like I couldn't hear from anybody. Yeah. There was Q&A at the end that was done via messaging. But that was weird.
Yeah.
I spent an entire hour talking as if I was in a room by myself, trying desperately to remember that there were people, 150 people listening.
Did at some stage you just excuse yourself and go to the loo, forgetting that people were still there? Be back in a moment. Do you do many? I did a talk the other day, and well, that's in fact that's how we started. So there's your cyclical ending now. When I was in Brighton, I really enjoyed. I haven't spoken to a camera club for a long time, and I did. The first thing I said to them was, I would imagine that many of you
are you paying for the parking?
That's it. When you sat here, thought, oh no, I thought it was the week when Charlie Waite was coming, because usually you think they want to talk about landscape photography, not necessarily weddings and sound and all that stuff that I do. But
I've been to some camera clubs over the years where, you know, the men sit there in the front with their legs wide open and their arms crossed, just tutting.
Tutting?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't need to use flash when you're shooting weddings.
Oh, so they
don't worry about the technicalities. Get the moment.
So in essence, they thought you should use flash. So when you say you don't need to use flash, you got God, who is this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
How long until the bar? Well, that's it for this time. We will be those that are patrons will obviously have a critique coming up, won't we, for you? But otherwise, keep those emails coming in to click@fujicast.co.uk. Your questions. Nice to have a sport-related one there, wasn't it, Kev? Eh?
Yeah.
Nice to have a sport one. So thank you for that. I mean, it's not just weddings. A wedding is not just for the FujiCast. Then send them in to click@fujicast.co.uk if you want to send it in via the Facebook. Because it sounds like we need some, Kev.
We need more.
How do you do it? How do you do it, Kev?
Patrons, sponsors, money.
Oh dear, it's falling apart. See you next time, Kev. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.